The rain hammered against the windshield as Marcus Chin gripped the steering wheel tighter. His 7-year-old daughter Lily sat in the back seat, humming softly to herself, clutching her worn elephant toy. It had been another long shift driving for the rideshare company, but Marcus never complained. Every fare brought him closer to paying off the medical bills from his late wife's illness. When the app pinged with a pickup request from the luxury hotel downtown, Marcus didn't think much of it. Just another passenger seeking shelter from the storm. He pulled up to the glowing entrance, watching as a woman in an elegant cream dress stumbled toward his car, her wet hair plastered to her face. She collapsed into the back seat, breathing in shallow, desperate gasps. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Just drive. Anywhere away from here." Marcus glanced in the rearview mirror. Something was terribly wrong. The woman's lips were turning blue, her hand clutching at her throat. Years of first aid training from his days as a paramedic kicked in instantly. "Lily, sweetheart, close your eyes for a moment," he said calmly, pulling the car to the side of the road. He turned around and saw what he feared. Anaphylactic shock. The woman's airways were closing. She managed to gasp out a single word between struggling breaths. "Allergic." There was no time to wait for an ambulance. Marcus could see her consciousness fading. He had seconds, not minutes. Without hesitation, he performed rescue breathing, forcing air into her lungs, keeping her alive until the color began returning to her face. When her breathing finally stabilized, tears streamed down her cheeks. "You saved my life," she whispered, her green eyes meeting his with profound gratitude. Marcus learned her name was Victoria Hartwell. She explained through trembling words that someone at the charity gala had deliberately put shellfish in her drink, knowing her severe allergy. She had fled, unable to reach her EpiPen in time. "I should take you to a hospital," Marcus insisted. "No," Victoria said firmly, though her voice was still weak. "No hospitals. No police. You don't understand what my family is capable of. Please, just take me somewhere safe." Against his better judgment, Marcus drove to his modest apartment. Lily watched the elegant stranger with curious eyes as Victoria sat at their small kitchen table, wrapped in one of Marcus's old sweaters, sipping hot tea. Over the next hour, Victoria's story unfolded. She was the daughter of Bernard Hartwell, the billionaire real estate magnate. Her stepbrother Christopher had been systematically trying to harm her, desperate to ensure he inherited the entire family fortune. Tonight had been his most brazen attempt. Why not go to the authorities? Marcus asked, though he already suspected the answer. "My father had a stroke 6 months ago," Victoria explained, her hands wrapped around the warm mug. "Christopher has convinced him that I'm unstable, trying to take control of the company. If I make accusations now, he'll have me declared incompetent. I'll lose everything, including the ability to protect my father." Marcus saw the intelligence and determination in her eyes. This wasn't a damsel in distress. This was a woman trapped by circumstances, fighting to survive. "What will you do?" he asked quietly. Victoria looked at Lily, who had fallen asleep on the couch, her elephant tucked under her chin. Something in her expression softened. "I need proof of what Christopher is doing," she said. "I need time to gather evidence, to find allies I can trust. But most of all, I need to disappear for a while." What happened next surprised Marcus most. Victoria didn't run to some private island or foreign country. She asked if she could stay in his spare room, the tiny space he'd been using for storage. She offered to pay generously, but Marcus saw something else in her eyes. Loneliness, exhaustion, the bone-deep weariness of someone who had been fighting alone for too long. "You can stay," he said simply, "but I won't take your money. You can help with Lily instead. I work long hours, and she gets lonely." Over the following weeks, something remarkable happened. Victoria, who had grown up with nannies and boarding schools, learned to braid Lily's hair and help with homework. She made simple meals, often burning them at first, laughing at her own mistakes. Marcus watched as the polished veneer of the heiress gradually fell away, revealing someone genuine underneath. They talked late into the evenings, after Lily went to bed. Victoria shared memories of her mother, who had died when she was young, much like Marcus's wife. He told her about the dreams he'd had to set aside, the medical career abandoned when his wife got sick, and someone needed to be home with Lily. "You gave up so much," Victoria said softly one evening. "I gained more than I lost," Marcus replied, glancing toward Lily's bedroom. "Some choices aren't sacrifices. They're just love." Victoria's eyes glistened with tears. "I wish my family understood that." Meanwhile, Victoria was quietly working. She reached out to trusted allies in her father's company, gathering documentation of Christopher's embezzlement and manipulation. Marcus helped her navigate the world without wealth as camouflage, teaching her how to take the bus, shop at discount stores, find joy in simple things. One afternoon, Lily asked Victoria to come to her school play. "You'll be there, right? Like a real family." Victoria knelt down to Lily's level, her voice thick with emotion. "I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world." Sitting in those uncomfortable folding chairs, watching Lily play a singing flower in the school production, Victoria felt something she'd never experienced before. Belonging, not because of her name or wealth, but simply because she was wanted. When Christopher's hired investigator finally tracked Victoria down, Marcus was ready. He contacted a lawyer friend who specialized in corporate fraud. They had compiled everything needed to expose Christopher's crimes, with backup copies secured in multiple locations. The confrontation happened at the Hartwell estate. Victoria walked in with her head held high, Marcus and Lily by her side. Her father, Bernard, was in his wheelchair, his speech still affected by the stroke, but his eyes sharp and aware. Victoria laid out the evidence methodically: bank records, forged signatures, recorded conversations. Christopher's face went pale as the truth unfolded before everyone. Bernard Hartwell wept as he realized how he'd been manipulated, how he doubted his own daughter. "Forgive me," he managed to say, reaching for Victoria's hand. She knelt beside him, tears flowing freely. "Always, Father. Always." 6 months later, Victoria had taken her rightful place in the company, implementing changes her father had always dreamed of but never dared to make. Christopher faced criminal charges, and the family was slowly healing. But the real change was in Victoria herself. She split her time between the boardroom and a modest house she bought 3 blocks from Marcus's apartment. She and Lily had art sessions every Wednesday. She and Marcus had become each other's closest confidant, and something deeper was growing between them with the patient inevitability of sunrise. "You gave me my life back twice," Victoria told Marcus one evening as they watched Lily play in the park. "Once with your breath, and once by showing me what living actually means."